Hello fairies, and welcome back to another video diary. I've kind of stitched together some lovely recent bookish moments I've had. So we have, book thrifting and shopping in general, a candlelit creative journaling, junk journaling kind of session. Of course, I'll show you and kind of go through what I got. I actually have that book stack right here behind me. But first, let's go back where I take you along with me and showing you the bookshops that I went to. we're back from our little shopping montage. I'm honestly still not over that first bookstore, Recycled Reads. I just think that the concept is so lovely and incredible what they're doing, and I honestly just need to look to see if there are more places like that. I'm sure there are, but those are the kinds of places that we need to be supporting. So reminder again, support your local libraries and shop secondhand too. If you like owning the physical copies of books you read and you're trying to just be more conscious, just try thrifting books, shopping secondhand. There are even plenty of online places that do it, like Pango, Thrift Books, Book Outlet. There's so many. Yeah, and I feel like you end up finding a lot of cool editions and stuff like that that you don't really see in your typical mainstream bookstores. We have some kind of random niche books, a new release, some highly anticipated reads, and just overall mostly some really cool old books or just cool editions. So at least to me, but I'm gonna go in order from the bookstores I went to. So first up, let's go through some of the thrifted books that I got. The books that I thrifted from Recycled Reads. First one is Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I just thought that this edition was really beautiful. It almost gives like an unfinished watercolor art style. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but really my reasoning for this is why not? I think this is something that I of course plan to read at least once in my lifetime, and a few days before I actually went book shopping, this kind of just randomly fell on my radar of something that I want to read, and then a few days later I just saw this in the store and I was like, okay, that's the only sign I need. And so yeah, I picked it up. I don't know when I'll read this. I feel like, I mean, obviously this is kind of a perfect time to read this. I know its story, certainly not as well as others. I know that it's kind of about the complexities and mysteries of love and the like fairy tale element too, which I'll definitely enjoy. I think this will be fun and interesting for sure. So there's that one. This one is pretty random. It's just a book that kind of immediately I was drawn to when I saw it. I am definitely an admirer of Gothic architecture. The full title of this, Gothic Architecture and Scholasticism, an inquiry into the analogy of the arts, philosophy, and religion in the Middle Ages. So, and this is by Erwin Panofsky. I believe that's how you say it. I need to do my own research more onto this book to see if it's a reputable reference piece, but to my knowledge and the very brief quick Google search I did do in the store, it is referenced as an important contribution to art history. So I feel like I'll learn at least one interesting thing from this, and I think it would just be nice to learn a little bit more about the things that you're drawn to in life. And I like Gothic architecture, so why not learn a little bit about Gothic architecture? And I really enjoy learning about art history, so I feel like I'll absorb this pretty well. And if all else fails, I have some very cool illustrations and prints of different Gothic architectural designs and places in real life. So these would at least be some really cool like scrap journaling, junk journaling pieces maybe, or like could hang them up around my desk kind of thing. It'll be interesting to read about a conversation, kind of drawing comparison to the arts and philosophy and religion and things like that. So yeah. Next up are the books I thrifted from Half Price Books. First, I think I'm going to talk about the one I'm most excited about, which is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I honestly knew I'd be able to thrift a copy of this because I don't know why. I feel like I see it at least 5 to 7 copies of The Goldfinch in every book thrift store I go to. So I knew I was going to be able to find one. And this one's actually, I love that it's the paperback and basically in perfect condition. If it wasn't, I honestly don't think I'd be too bothered. This is a very highly anticipated read of mine. I feel these past few months, just the urge to read this has really solidified for me. And I know that it is a story that is not meant to be rushed. Personally, my biggest pet peeve is a spoiler. And so I really do prefer to go into my books blind. That's why when I am talking about these books, usually I'm not just gonna read the synopsis. I'll have a general idea, surface level idea, or maybe kind of know the topics and things that are discussed in the story. That kind of draws me to it, to wanting to read it. But yeah, so from what I know of The Goldfinch is it's a story that discusses grief and art and self-identity and fate and such. I feel like it's taken me a while to read this because it's almost like I'm rationing Donna Tartt's works because I've only read The Secret History, right? But I know I only have a couple other of her books to read, and so for some reason, instead of reading everything that she has, I'm almost like pacing them out for myself. Because we don't know if she'll be or when she'll be blessing us with another masterpiece. So yeah, but I've decided life's too short to wait to read a book you want, but I do also believe in reading books at the right time. I'm personally a mood reader, so if I'm not in the mood to read a book, I'm probably not going to enjoy it, right? I just feel that there are certain books that I've read at points in my life to where that was, it was written in the stars for me to read it at that point in my life, and it becomes a very impactful or thought-provoking, all-consuming, moving, life-changing read. Whereas there are other times to where I feel, oh, maybe I would have enjoyed this book more if I read it at this time in my life. You know what I mean? Maybe not. I feel now I'm at a point to where the time for me to read this story is now. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, honestly. This next one might be a little funny, but I got the French edition of Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban because I have a goal in life to be fluent in French. Honestly, I have a goal to be multilingual, but at least bilingual. I've seen a lot of advice saying that the best way to learn a new language and really immerse yourself into that new language is to consume media in that language. So for me, I want to be fluent in French, so just watching French movies and TV shows, listening to French music, of course, reading French literature, French books. I've seen people say like you should read local articles or newspapers. So I've taken that advice and that's kind of what I'm doing. Now, when I went to the world language section, there were so many beautiful editions of these French novels and all of them were appealing to me. But then I saw this and I was like, you know what? I feel somehow it would be a good, more novice level starting point, like a good starting point. I was really consistent at practicing daily, but I think I'm at a point now to where I need to be putting it into practice a bit more. And so I'm kind of going to be approaching this read as almost a project. But yeah, I think it'll be a challenging and fun project though. I'm definitely going to be like translating it along the way, so this is not something I'm rushing. This is definitely a project that'll take me a while because I really do want to understand and really get something out of this. Yeah, that's kind of the story behind this buy. I also think that not only the fact that it is a story kind of catered directed towards younger audiences, or at least written that way. It's a story I know, and so I'll be able to kind of easier grasp the like concepts and just context of the conversations and things that are happening. But yeah, that's that. And if you do have any advice for learning a new language, specifically in your like adulthood, I would love to hear any advice you have. And yeah, last up from Half Price Books, I have Northanger Abbey. This also has Lady Susan, the Watsons, and Sanditon. Could always use some more Jane Austen in my collection. Okay, next up and last bit of the book haul, we have some of the reads that I picked up from Barnes & Noble. Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector. I am truly so excited to just dive into the world of Clarice Lispector. Clarice Lispector was a Brazilian author. This has been a long time coming, and just any quote or excerpt I've read from her just continues to speak to my soul and blow me away. I did try to do a little bit of research of like where I should start with her works, and I can't say I really followed the advice I was seeing online, but this one was just kind of the one that was speaking to me, and it is a very well-loved piece of hers. That's why I'm starting with this one. Then I picked up A Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I know this is kind of a completely different vibe from the books I picked up in this haul, but I do like to read many different genres and continuously expand my reading palette and just what I'm reading. I had planned to read it last fall, but just didn't get around to it. I was gonna wait to pick this up this fall season because I just feel like, you know, vampires, spooky season, it's just always perfect. But I've really been in a summer-ween kind of state of mind lately. Honestly, just in the mood for a dark vampire Dracula retelling. Last up is A Treachery of Swans. This is by A.B. Paramnik, and I actually just recently read Where the Dark Stands Still by this author, and I just thought it was a deliciously enchanting story, and it was so beautiful. It is just rich in folklore, specifically Polish folklore, and it was just a beautiful and refreshingly unique story. So I know that this author knows how to write a dark, beautiful fairy tale retelling. Not only that, it is a dark retelling of Swan Lake. I'm sad for that. Like, honestly had me at swans. I don't know what it is. I feel like if I had a spirit animal, it would be a swan. I had my eye on it before its release. It is a new release. I knew I was gonna pick this up. I mean, it is just so stunning. Like, honestly, I just love when the book art is just breathtaking. I have a feeling the story will be as well. That is A Treachery of Swans. But yeah, so that is my book haul, and I think a lovely way to end this vlog is with a cozy candlelit journal session. Just want to say thanks again for all the support and love. That's enough yapping, so let's get journaling.